How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, Fpl, and welcome back to the live stream or Deadline with Dayvy, as I've been accustomed to on this channel. The Game Week 22 deadline is approaching us quite quickly. Sorry for the delay, about 7 minutes late, so I do apologize for that. So we have less than an hour till the deadline. So hopefully not only you, but I can get my transfers in and my captaincy thoughts through and get a good squad for Game Week 22. Starting off, as we usually do, this stream has been sponsored by OneFootball. Link down in the description below if you want to go check it out. iOS and Android for free. They've been sponsoring quite a lot of my videos, so thanks to them. Awesome app, have been using it for quite a while, so should you. Getting on to the rest of my squad. Firstly, we did have a donation here. I nearly missed it. So Young Thug, thank you for donating once again, £2. Happy New Year, David, you handsome man. Calling me by my first name, so official there. Hey, Young Thug, but happy New Year's to you too, brother, and hopefully it's a fantastic year, not only for FPL, but whatever else you have on in your life. In terms of some other options to go for my own squad here, 2 free transfers. If you saw the team selection video, if you have not, go check it out. But I'm probably going to be making similar transfers to that. Right now in my mind, I'm kind of going Kane to one of either Connolly, Greenwood, or someone that is dirt cheap, and then upgrading the likes of Lucas Moura to Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane. A question for the chat that I do have is, who out of Lucas Moura and Dele Alli gets more points over the next two? The next two, if you don't know, Liverpool at home, quite tough fixture. It is a home fixture, so they could get something from that, but then they have Watford. So I'm kind of contemplating whether to go for Lucas Moura out or to go for Ali out. So comment down in chat who you think is going to get more points over the next two. We also have Tis Meister saying, hey up Dayvy, how's it going, Tis Meister? If you don't know Tis Meister, one of our lovely members over here on the Dayvy FPL channel, so nice of you to join. We have a lot of people saying get rid of Ali, in my opinion. Okay, so let me tell you my transfer plans before you say that. So it does not matter at all whether I transfer out Lucas Moura or Dele Alli for my budget. My budget is going to rely on that final game week before game week 24 when I bring Mohamed Salah in. So no moves are kind of dictated by who I transfer out. So don't think of it as a budget thing. Just look at it, if they're both the same price, who would you rather keep? So Liam Wright saying that Moura will do better while still being cheaper than Ali. So that could be something. T-Smicer saying Ali out for me. If I was to transfer one of them out, I don't think any of these are on penalties. So I don't think Lucas Moura or Ali will be. I think Eriksen's probably, or the likes of Heung-min Son. So I don't think in terms of other transfers that I could make, they're going to impact these moves too much. So the transfers that I'm going to make this game week is probably going to be Kane out, Lucas Moura out to Connolly and Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane. And then next game week, I'm going to go Rashford to Danny Ings and then upgrade Ali to one of Mo Salah or Sadio Mane. So I'll be getting that double up in the midfield of Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. So that's what I'm kind of doing. So it doesn't impact me at all who I transfer out right now. Mane will rise in price. I was always leaning towards Sadio Mane anyway. So for me, that was kind of the move that I was going for first of all, and then I'll bring Mohamed Salah in later. I don't really think there's too much in it, especially over these next 2 game weeks. I think that Spurs and Man United, I know that they haven't been performing that well against maybe weaker sides, but both of these sides usually step it up when they play the top 6. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that game, but I really am comfortable with bringing in that double Liverpool midfield going on for that double game week 24. We have Milner is out, Salah takes penalties. That is true. And Spurs with the likes of Aurier, always a little bit of a hothead, so could see a penalty in that game. Very true. So that could be a little bit of an option going for him. But I think with the budget that I'm kind of playing with, I think I have to bring Sadio Mane in, as I don't know if I'll be able to afford it otherwise. In terms of other questions, we have... So I'll talk about captaincy right now. We've got quite a couple more people in channel, so hopefully I don't have to repeat this any longer. So please keep your ears open for this one. So in terms of my captaincy, probably going to be Vardy for my own team. I think Vardy's not necessarily the best option this game week, but I do think he's the safety option. I'm a little bit tired of kind of going against the grain and looking at other captaincy options and then they're not returning when Jamie Vardy I know he wasn't playing last weekend, so that was probably a little bit of a blind side there, but I do think that Vardy would have been the best captaincy option. Then this game week, I don't think he's the best captaincy option, but I do think he's the safety one. So that's who I'm going for. In terms of the best option, I do think it's going to be the Man City players. I know De Bruyne was playing slightly deeper last game week, but I don't really think it's going to be impacting him that much. Reason being, they're going to be probably playing against a team that's going to be parking the bus, playing on the counter-attack throughout with Jack Grealish and that kind of thing. I don't think Aston Villa even have a centre forward that's fit right now. So I think they're definitely going to be looking at the counter-attack. So De Bruyne, even if he does play deep, he's still going to be getting high up. Man City are going to push them forward, and that's going to be kind of the place where you want De Bruyne to be, and as you can always whip in the cross. But the reason I'm saying that Man City are also the best captaincy options is that every single game week that has passed, I've been having a green arrow until the final fixture. So the final fixture has usually been the Liverpool assets, and they've come to bite me. But if you look, that last game week is Man City. So you even have that advantage of kind of captaining a player in the last game of the game week. And then you can always kind of have that hope that he does do well. But I think Vardy's going to be probably my captain for this game week. Other options you could look at are the Liverpool assets. I do think that they should be beating Spurs. It is an away fixture, but the way Liverpool have been playing has been quite good. I don't think it's a question of whether Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane starts. They will 100% both start. I know Shaqiri's back from his injury and training, but I don't think Klopp's going to throw him in for this one. Touch wood that I'm right here, that I'm kind of setting myself up for failure. But I think that the likes of Sadio Mane or Mohamed Salah could also be nice captaincy options. Probably a little bit more differential than the Man City and Leicester assets, as I don't really think a lot of people generally captain for a top 6 clash. So those are kind of the 3 that I would look at. You could also look at someone like Jimenez as a really out there pick. I think I would only go with Raul Jimenez if you're looking to make up some ground. If you kind of lower down in the ranks, looking for a more differential captain, I would look at him. Otherwise, United, you could also go for them. I just don't really trust them, but I'm willing to keep Rashford in for this game week because I do think it's a better fixture. And he's not really the biggest fire to put out right now on my FPL squad. So that's basically going to wrap up the captaincy. I know there'll probably be questions about it later on, closer to the deadline, but right now I would say Vardy safety, Man City if you want to go for the best inverted commas option. I'm just a little bit scared if Vardy does bang and then I don't have him. And in terms of other options that you could go for, Liverpool assets, and then maybe even Raul Jimenez if you want to go for a little bit more of a differential. Michael saying Maddison out for 2 weeks. As far as I'm concerned, I thought that he was kind of fit. Brendan Rodgers came out and said that he should be fine. We also have Jaden saying, sounds like you're recording a video, you got to chill. Apologies if I am talking too fast. Hopefully my accent isn't too hard to understand. I will try and talk a little bit slower, and then maybe we could even kind of get a couple more questions in. I'm listening to Dayvy from my car. Great company, mate. Hopefully we do keep you company, and hopefully you travel safely wherever you are going. Banjo85 saying Greenwood versus Norwich or Grealish versus Man City. I think that you kind of have to go for the player that's guaranteed 90 minutes there. So I would probably opt for Grealish. In terms of if I make my transfers, Grealish is probably going to be starting in my squad. So I think that I am really comfortable. I'm really comfortable with just playing Grealish against this one. He could always get something. In terms of Man City's style of play, they've been pretty good at the start, and then right at the end, at about the last 20 minutes, the other team suddenly realizes that they could get something out of this game, and then they usually concede. If you looked at the likes of Everton, they kind of shot themselves in the foot. I know that Edison should be back, so probably not going to be relying on too many keeper mistakes. But I do think that Grealish could get something out of this. It is a home fixture for them. Aston Villa have a lot of fight in them, and that could lead to a goal. And I think if you're looking at an Aston Villa goal, then Jack Grealish is probably going to be on the end of an attacking return. But I should probably make my transfers quite early on, as a lot of people are probably going to be getting quite confused with this lineup. So if you're joining right now, this team is not confirmed. I still have to make my transfers, and then I will confirm my lineup. But I think the captaincy is probably going to be quite sold, and I think that's going to be quite good. Charles saying, do you think that Sidibe could be another Lundstrom as he plays out of position? I don't think it'll be exactly a Lundstrom, as he is quite more expensive, but he could be an option for them. I know that Everton have some nice fixtures coming up, so definitely could be an option. The nice thing that I liked about him was that he started the game out of position, and then when Everton made a substitution, he simply just dropped into fullback. So that shows that Ancelotti kind of trusts him. I think these fixtures are nice. Just look at after him, because I think you're probably going to want to play him and then transfer him out. But I do think he's a good option. If you can afford a 5.4 million defender, maybe if you're looking at the likes of Aurier out, that could be an option for you. But otherwise, I'm kind of set on playing a more budget forward line. I think a lot of the defenses are going to look at this. Lundstrom, TAA or Robertson, Sionku is probably in everyone's squad. The keepers where it kind of changes up a bit. I've seen a lot of movement, mainly the likes of people jumping on Fabianski. I know Guaita has 2 tough fixtures coming up, but then after that, I'm willing to hold him for this one. I know that he hasn't been performing that well for me, but I kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. I saw someone ask me my rank earlier, so it's 88k, 88.5k around. Last game week was quite a shocker. 46 points, just below the average, and that saw kind of a red arrow of about 30k. So apologies, I think that question was quite further back. So at least you know it now. Hopefully you're still in the chat. Mazen Mohammed saying no early lineup news. So the game tonight is Sheffield United West Ham. We probably will get some news that's going on, but probably the player you're looking at is Lundstrom. Maybe if you own Musset, you could look at that. But I think Lundstrom will play, and I don't really think the West Ham people own a lot of their players. So I will announce anything if I do see it in terms of early transfer news. But otherwise, I don't really think that we're going to kind of be looking at that. Corin Wright saying, peace, Dayvy. Worth getting rid of Rico for the likes of a Watford defender. No other fires to put out. If you have enough Liverpool players, Corin, I know that the Watford fixtures are turning quite a bit, so I wouldn't really mind that transfer. If you need to play him, then I think play him. But in terms of if he's going to be on your bench for most of the games, then I wouldn't consider that move. But if you really don't have any fires to put out and you have 2 free transfers, then I would consider it, especially if you do have the likes of a triple Liverpool or a double Liverpool and you have plans to bring them in later. Kanishka saying, I have KDB, but will move him for Salah, but I don't want to lose KDB. So personally, I'm going to be keeping KDB. I think that he's worth keeping. Probably my Man City player to own. I think if the likes of Aguero kind of makes way for a lot of minutes, then I would maybe look at him. But I think KDB is probably the player I want to go for. Reason being as well is I've got a lot of money stored in him, so don't really want to sell him right now. LV saying Spurs assets must go. I know 2 assets are going to be leaving tonight, so that's going to be quite interesting. FPL Top Gunner saying hello from California. How's it going from America? Glad you could join us today. Probably a deadline that you can join us because of how far back you guys are in terms of time zones. Will you take a hit to bring Fabianski in? I don't know if I would take a hit to bring Fabianski in. I think if you want to bring him in for the double game week, then you could. But I think that with keepers, you never really want to transfer for a hit because then you basically have to have a guaranteed clean sheet to make that pay up. AJX saying hello from India. How's it going? Silent Chaos saying, hey Davey, start Lundstrom or Holgate. West Ham have a new manager bounce for Sheffield United and Everton are a bit unpredictable and Brighton tend to score. So right now, if you have to ask me that on paper, I would say start Lundstrom. A reason being Brighton haven't been that bad, and this isn't the Brighton of last season. They do get quite forward quite a bit, so I do think that they'll score on that one. So that's why I'm favouring Lundstrom. I know West Ham had that manager bounce, but it was against Bournemouth, and this is Sheffield United we're talking about, a team that is basically on the opposite side of the table to Bournemouth. So I do think that you have to kind of play the better team here, and I would kind of go for Lundstrom. You can even go for attacking returns. I think you'll get a more of an attacking return than Holgate. Traore or Ali to start? I saw that question somewhere. That's a tough one to go by because of the budget differentiation. I would almost be tempted to say Traore, but that's almost a waste of the budget. So maybe if you can make a transfer and take Ali out, then I would look at just playing whoever you bring in. Maybe the likes of Maddison. But off the bat, I'd say on paper, I'd probably play Traore, especially if you have a Liverpool defender. Martial or Vardy for captaincy, asks Night Watch. I would say Vardy for safety. Martial if you kind of down in the ranks and need to make up some space. Amir K saying, when will you post your lineup? I'll post my lineup probably around 20 minutes, 10 minutes before the deadline. So just keep the notifications on Twitter and then you can kind of go for that. Speak Polish, please. I only know some Russian swear words, so it's probably similar to Polish, but I don't really know Polish, so I can't really talk that. Best keeper choices, so I think Foster's a good shout to go for. Ryan is also good because of their fixtures. You could also opt for someone like Sheffield United's defender Henderson. He could be a nice shout, especially because of the nice fixtures that they do have. But I would say probably if you already have Lundstrom, then I would look at maybe the likes of Ryan. I'd say Ryan I favoured the most just because of how poor Watford have been at the start of the season. Hey, Dayvy, 1 week punt on Mahrez or Sterling for Maddison or Traore. So I would start Maddison. If you're going to take a 1 week punt, I would probably stick with Maddison, transfer out Traore, and I would maybe opt for Sterling. But if your budget can't allow for it, I would say Mahrez is fine. But I think definitely keep Maddison for this one, especially if you have the likes of Vardy, because then you think Vardy's going to do well, and then we can kind of look at. I love how we all captaining Vardy against Southampton, but then when I captained Kane against Southampton, it went quite badly. So hopefully the Southampton bug hasn't bitten me. Dayvy, should I put Firmino for the double game week? Asked Jack. Mate, I think you can put Firmino if you really can't afford the likes of Salah or Mane double up. I think that the defense kind of edges it for me a little bit. So if you can afford Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, I would probably look at that before looking at Firmino. But I'm not going to be telling you not to bring in Firmino, especially because of how the double game week is lining up. He has a good away form, so just the joke. Why Vardy captain? Why not Rashford? Southampton won't park the bus this time. I don't think they're going to be parking the bus that much. I do think that they're a better side than they were after the 9-0 victory, especially because there was a red card in that one. I just think that Vardy at home, you got to back him. I think even if he gets a goal, could be some bonus points in there. And in terms of other fixtures I have on my players, they're not that great. De Bruyne, to be said, I think he is the best player to captain out of my squad, but I just going for a little bit of safety here and going for the Vardy captaincy. In terms of Rashford, I just don't trust him. I think it's a risk kind of keeping him for another game week even. And in terms of the other options that I have, I'm not going to be captaining the likes of a defender. AJX saying, do you watch the Punjabi League? I don't know if that's a soccer league, but I don't watch it. In fact, I don't even watch that much of South African football. So just basically watch British Premier League and then the Champions League. Ties Meister saying, what are your rank aims for the end of the season at this stage? Top 10k. So I saw a little bit of a tweet earlier on where the probability of finishing in the top 10k, and it was quite low considering my rank. So I think that that's going to be a realistic aim. I don't think it's an impossible aim by no means. I don't really trust the probability on that one. But I think top 10k is probably my aim. I would like to get a lot higher, but I think the way this game weeks are kind of setting out, I'm kind of cementing my place in the top 100k. So kind of got to opt out there, but I do think top 10k is probably my aim, T-Smeister. Andrew Pooh saying, Jimenez for captain. So I would captain Jimenez if you're quite low in the ranks and need to kind of have a nice differential. Don't think it's the worst captaincy in the world, but I do think that there might be other options to go for. Osama saying, hello from Pakistan, Davey. How's it going? Why are you leaving Kane on, says Mohammed. So I still have to make my transfers, and then I will be confirming the team. Start Kelly or Grealish. I would go for Grealish. Hakim. Grealish likely to score, I think, says YOLO Gamer HD. Could do. I think if Aston Villa put one on the against Man City, it should be a Grealish on the receiving end of some attacking returns. Ali ownership is 10k and Traore 17k. Who to start? I also have Jimenez. So I think that you kind of just go for, I want to say Traore. I don't think that 17% is going to be a reflection on his play, on his people who play him in the starting 11, as a lot of people will probably be having him on the bench this game week. So if you have Jimenez already, you could maybe play the odds there and just go for Ali. And then if Wolves don't really perform, you kind of, and Spurs do, then you're kind of nullifying the threat. But if you want to kind of go for the odds, then just play Traore and just hope that Wolves do quite well. Start Soyuncu or Ings, asks Bob FPL. So there's a lot of FPL managers that usually prefer to play the attacker always. I think this situation could be one of them. I would say if you have if you play, obviously I'm assuming that you're playing 3 at the back, but if you have a defender that's like Lundstrom or something that still has a good fixture, then you could go for Ings. I think if you don't have any other defenders that have good game weeks, then I would bench him and just play Soyuncu, but otherwise I think you kind of just have to opt for Ings a little bit. Conrad saying, love the accent, appreciate it, buddy. Hopefully you can understand it. Start Traore or Cantwell, the Wonder Boy. That's a tough one to go by. I would say maybe my preference leads towards Cantwell in this one, just because of how attacking Norwich are. And with Newcastle, you can't always depend on them to be really attacking. They could kind of park the bus a little bit, and then Traore always struggles in those games because he doesn't really get forward that much. But I think I would probably opt for Cantwell in that one, going for a little bit more of an out there pick. Dayvy, what do you think about Sterling captaincy? So I do think that the Man City options are probably going to be the best captaincy options this game week. I'm just going for Vardy as a little bit of safety. So I don't think that the Sterling option is that bad. I do think that they could make some space on down the wings, and then Sterling's always quite dangerous. So I'm not really neglected on that kind of Sterling decision. I would say go for it. We also have 40, I think that's rupees from Kanishka, saying, take a hit of -8 to keep Salah, KDB, and Mane. Who are you transferring out? Kanishka, just link it in, just put it in chat, and I'll be sure to kind of see it, and then I'll answer your question. But thanks for the donation of 40 rupees. Is Rashford caption an option? I would go for it only if you really need a differential. I would say stick to either Man City or Leicester or Liverpool this game week. But in terms of if you want to go for a real differential, then you can go for it. -4 hit to remove Ali, Moura, and Rashi for Mane, Calvert, and Traore. I would give Rashford another game week. But in terms of if you want to just make a transfer, you're saying you want to make a -4 there. So if you want to lose one of those players, I would think that maybe just bring in Traore this game week if you really don't think Spurs are going to do well. And then do the move. But I think you have to give Rashford another game week. I know Calvert-Lewin is quite appealing. But I don't think that it's worth kind of downgrading Rashford for those moves. So I don't think I would do those moves. But the one I would do if you really don't want Spurs, I would just bring in Traore for one of Ali or Lucas Moura. David Silva for the next 2. You could take a punt as long as you have a plan. If you're going to be wild carding, then I would say probably go for that. But otherwise, I think that he's not the worst move. But I think that if you don't have any other fires to put out, I would do it. Todd Carlson saying, can you make your transfers? I can do, Todd. Right after I mention the $2 donation. Start Holgate or Soyuncu. That's a very tough one. I would probably just opt for Soyuncu. Maybe more of an attacking threat off set pieces. But I think that you kind of have to back the better team in this one. And I would just probably go for Soyuncu. It's a little bit more of a differential punt to go for there. As Soyuncu is more highly owned. But I do think that if he does get a clean sheet, that could maybe hurt your ranks. Maybe a little bit of safety on that one. But in terms of transfers, let's get into them. Probably what all of you are here for. A lot of questions in the chat about what's your transfer plan. So right now I'm leaning towards taking out Lucas Moura. I think I'm just a little bit worried about his starting time. Some minutes here doesn't get a lot, and then other times he's benched. In terms of Ali, usually plays a full 90 there. So I think I'm going to be leaving Ali for this game week. I know I do own Trent Alexander-Arnold, so I'm not hoping for a massive haul from him, but it would be quite nice if Ali does score and then TAA gets an attacking return or everyone. I had Tim saying everyone is going Vardy, so I'm going Mane captain. That's still a good captaincy to go for. I do think Liverpool will beat Spurs, so then Kane out, and then we have Lucas Moura out. So I think the option that I'm going to lean a little bit more towards is Sadio Mane. Reason being, I think he is rising in price this game week. I will just confirm it with you, but I do think that Mane is on his way to a price rise, where Salah, I know that he probably will rise by the time I bring him in, but for this game week, I was always kind of going to go for Sadio Mane, and then I was going to leave Mo Salah for another game week. So Mane is expected to rise here, so I do think I'll be making that move. It'll actually be interesting to see if Salah is also expected to rise. So it looks like Salah's going to be rising tomorrow, but that's all dependent, obviously, with how the games do go. We have 40 rupees from a Path saying, Sterling, good captaincy shot. I do think it's a good captaincy shot. It's a nice little differential as well. So I think that that's not a terrible kind of captaincy shot to go for at all. I do think that the Man City options are probably the best options to go for this game week. So Sadio Mane in, and that leaves us 5.9. But I'm just going to show you what I'm kind of thinking, so you guys are all in the loop here. So I'm looking to double up on that kind of Salah and Mane midfield combo. And then I'll bring Danny Ings next game week. He has quite nice fixtures here after the Leicester game. I know the Liverpool game is a little bit annoying, but I could always just bench him for that. But he has lovely fixtures here in great form. I mean, look at this run here. I mean, it's pretty good. Just hoping that he blanks this game week. And then obviously I have... let me just put Ings back in here. Then I have 4.7 million to play with. So the likes of the players I can bring in, it's kind of limited because there's not that many players that are looking good. The one option that I wish I had a little bit more time to see is Martinelli. Reason being is I think Arteta took over here against West Ham, but I'm a little bit unsure. But you can see here he was playing a lot of minutes. Then he got an injury, and then he seems to be out of the squad. So I would really like to take a punt on him because Arsenal's fixtures aren't that bad coming up. But I think I might just have to opt for one of Connolly and Greenwood. Not looking at Long. He doesn't play that much, and I mean the rest are kind of 1-point appearances. So I'm not going to be looking at them. But I think Connolly is probably the one that I'm going to be looking at. I know he hasn't started many games, and I probably will bench him most game weeks, but he always has that inside chance of starting, and I do like him. Got quite close to a goal last game week. Brighton's fixture's looking good. Could always just come on. With Greenwood, I know he started a couple games, but Solskjaer always worries me with these things. As he always comes out and he says he's impossible to drop and that kind of thing, and he's playing so well, but then he ends up not starting the next game. So I don't think I want to be trusting Greenwood. I think I'm just going to go for Connolly. So you see, then I have 0.3 in the bank. Nice little budget to play with. I'm expecting Salah and Ings to rise in price, so that gives me about 0.1 to play with next game week. And I think I should be looking in good stead then. We have another 100 rupee donation from Path saying, KDB or Vardy captain pick, will Greenwood start? So I'm a little bit unsure with Greenwood. I think that James is probably going to start in this one. And in terms of picks, I would go Vardy, kind of safety, and then KDB differential. Just look at where you are on the ranks path. If you really want to make up some space, if you're quite low down in the ranks, then I would look at captaining KDB. Otherwise, I would just go safety with Vardy. In terms of other, I think I saw another one down here, but I might have missed it. Oh, yes. A £2 donation from Rohit Nair. Thanks for the £2. I appreciate it. No message left there, so hopefully that was just a little bit of a generosity. And unfortunately, if that was a mistake, you can just kind of link your question in chat and I'll try and get to it. Will Ings hurt me? I don't own him. I'm really hoping that he doesn't hurt me, as I'm willing to kind of not have him for the Leicester fixture. In terms of all the fixtures, I know that I've been doubting Ings a lot and he has been returning quite well, but I think Leicester shouldn't be the best scoring game for him. Watch him score 2 goals now because I've said this, but I'm really hoping that Ings doesn't start. So that's going to be my 2 transfers, so I can afford right now to do Mane and Connolly. I could always afford Calvert-Lewin if I wanted to bring him in, but that means that I can't afford the double up in that Liverpool midfield. So I'm kind of comfortable with not owning Calvert-Lewin, and I think these are going to be my 2 transfers this game week. So Mane in and Connolly in. So let me know if you guys have heard any news about these 2 players, if they're injured or anything. Sid Barber saying, keep up the good work, Dayvy. Start a Patreon. Thanks, Sid. I don't know if many people would subscribe to my Patreon, and that's kind of the reason why I haven't put it in. So I don't know, maybe if you guys want me to start a Patreon, but that literally means that you guys are willing to give me money every single month. So I don't know if there's many people. Joker3 saying, hey guys, I'm asking to Orchada here, which one is better, Traore or Sidibe? Can't decide. So I always tend to look at the more attacking player. So I would probably look at Traore in this one. Sidibe is a good shot as well, but it's actually a really tough situation to be in. I wouldn't already want to be in the situation that you and Joker, but I would probably lean towards Traore. FPL Tips saying Grealish wasn't spotted in training today. So the thing with, if Grealish wasn't spotted in training, and the thing that's why that's quite nice, is that if he misses out completely, we just get a bench player then. And with Grealish, I'm not too upset about that move. If he doesn't start against City, not the biggest deal in the world. I think if he had a better fixture, then I would maybe look at being a little bit disappointed. But if I'm willing to get to play off the bench, then I'm perfectly fine if he doesn't start, as long as he doesn't come off the bench. Who would you swap in for keeper? Can't decide on who to swap. Guaita 4. So I would go for either Henderson, Ryan, or I would look at Foster. So that's Watford, Sheffield United, or Brighton. All of those 3 teams have quite nice fixtures. I think I'd probably be looking at Ryan a little bit. But other than that, I don't know if I would be looking at the others. I think if you already have Lundstrom, it might be a little bit of overkill to double up on kind of the Sheffield United defense. So I would kind of look at Ryan. I think an outside punter's Foster has been doing quite well, so you could also look at him as more of a little bit of a differential. T. Smart saying, I'm thinking of getting Calvert-Lewin for the next few game weeks and then swapping out for Ings after these difficult fixtures. You could do for that. I think that with Ings, though, I know that the two moves weren't looking that great for him in terms of the Leicester Liverpool assets. But, I mean, Wolves, Crystal Palace, not the worst fixtures in the world. I mean, Watford beat Wolves. So you could look at that. Crystal Palace as well. They've been leaking 1 or 2 goals, and I think Ings is basically the 1-goal merchant. So, and then after that, he has a nice run. But I do think that it's not the most essential move to do. I think that if you want to kind of go for a little bit of a punt, bring Calvert-Lewin in, only owned by under 7%. So you could always go for that one. Davey, what are your plans for the third Liverpool player? Asked Knight's Watch. I literally just showed it to you, but I was going to transfer out Ali, downgrade Rashford to Ings, and then upgrade Ali to Salah. So that'll be a 2-game week kind of plan. Next game week, I'll be bringing Ings in. And then, because Ali has Watford, so you could get something in that one. And then the following game week, prior to game week 24, I'll be bringing Salah in. Should I start Grealish or Traore? I would start Traore. Have a back 4 of Sidibe, Chilwell, Lundstrom, and Trent. Can only start 3. Any advice? I would start Trent. I would start Lundstrom. And I would start... That's a tough one to be in. I almost want to say Sidibe. I think maybe give Chilwell the game week off. But that is a tough spot to be in, as I just think that overall, actually, you'll probably just play Chilwell. Everton are a bit hit or miss, and I do think Brighton will score on that one. So I just think Chilwell, Lundstrom, and TAA. Todd Carlson saying, I love you, Davey, love you too. Thanks for joining in on this Friday night. So these are going to be the transfers I make, guys. Hopefully you guys do approve of them. I will be confirming these transfers now. I don't think it's just worth taking a punt on Connolly. I'm not going to be starting them this game week anyway, so I think it kind of saves me that budget as well. So these are going to be my 2 transfers. I'm going to go for Ali in, just kind of more solid, and then Kane out. Obviously, hasn't been that good of a performer in my FPL squad. So I'm going to confirm these transfers. And then let's sub them in. So I'm going to start Grealish over Connolly, and then I'll just put Connolly first bench. Rico could be my first bench position, but I'm not too comfortable with him. In terms of the players I have, I'm quite happy with the squad. Finally, I have a Liverpool midfielder. That causes for some celebration, as the Liverpool assets have kind of been knocking me around a little bit. So Sian saying Ings is about to go up in price. I know he's going to go up in price. I have about a 0.3 price bracket there that I can play with. I'll be bringing Ings in next game week, so hopefully I am able to make the moves. But the nice thing about Connolly, he went down in price this week, so that kind of gave me enough money to afford these moves. So I'm happy with them. Happy to have another Liverpool asset in my squad. And I think over the next double game week in game week 24 is going to be quite a lovely asset to have. In terms of my captaincy choices, I don't think I'm going to be changing them that much unless someone really convinces me in chat. So Ezekiel saying Aguero/Vardy captaincy. So as I've been saying, go Vardy if you want safety. If you want to kind of preserve your rank, then go for it. But if you want to go for more differential, I would go for Aguero. But Aguero is a really risky one to go for. You saw last game week how he can be benched every so often, and we never kind of have a really consideration of who's going to be starting. I mean, how Pep Guardiola, what he did against Man United on the midweek, he benched both Jesus and Aguero. I mean, how can we kind of predict what to go for when we have that? Ryan McKenna saying, how's it, Davey? Sorry if you answered this, but Calvert-Lewin versus Mapai. I want to kind of lean towards Calvert-Lewin, but I do think that Mapai isn't the worst transfer in the world. Has some nice fixtures coming up. I think if you want to go for more of a long-term punt, then I would go for Mapai. But if you want to go for a short-term punt with the aim of transferring them out for the likes of Ings or something like that, then you could look at him. In terms of fixtures, I mean, he's got Aston Villa at home and then Bournemouth away, which isn't bad at all, and then West Ham even. So that looks like quite tasty fixtures, and let's consider Calvert-Lewin's ones. Calvert-Lewin basically has 5, so that's why I said if you're willing to transfer him out in the upcoming future, then you could look at him. Brighton home, West Ham away, Newcastle. So I think maybe over the next 5, Mupai slightly outdoes him. And I think that Calvert-Lewin has the more potential. I think ownership is going to kind of come down to the decision. So Mupai is owned by hardly anyone, so that's going to be quite a nice differential punt to go for. I want to kind of lean towards Mupai now that I've seen kind of the fixtures coming up. I think maybe Calvert-Lewin has the better form, but I think that Mupai might have the better kind of ceiling over these next 5 game weeks. I know I haven't really answered that that much, but it's kind of a tough situation to be with. But I think either player you go for is going to kind of do well for you. David 4343 saying, if you had enough money for Musset instead of Connolly, is it worth it? I don't think it's worth it. I don't think Connolly's a set starter, so I wouldn't be using my transfer on that one, especially for Musset. I mean, Musset could play. We might have some early team sheet news, and then you could just play Musset tonight. Wiztech saying Rashford hat-trick. So there you got your prediction from Wiztech. So if you want to trust him, you can kind of go for a captaincy him. I had team saying Vardy triple captain. I would not use my triple captain on this one. Had team. The one thing I want to know is, are any of you considering using your triple captainship in double game week 24? That's what I want to know, because currently I'm leaning towards the double captaincy on Mane or Salah on that one. Jack Mate saying Dayvy never answers my questions. Jack, I promise you, I'll bet you have to donate £100 if you go rewatch the stream and I've answered one of your questions, because I promise you I answered one of your questions. So Jack, thank you. I'm waiting for the donation since I never answer your questions. Martial or Rashford? I would go for Martial because we need to save the funds now for the Liverpool assets. So I would go for Martial. Why do you like Grealish over Connolly or Rico? I just think that the ceiling might be a little bit higher for those two. I don't think Connolly is going to start in this one. And I think Rico, I mean, have you seen Bournemouth recently? I don't think that they're very great at all. Renewstar saying, my girlfriend in top 10k and is not using her triple captainship makes me want to use mine. I think you have to do it then. If you're talking about this game week, then I wouldn't use a triple captain. But if you're talking about Gaming 24, I can see that could be a good move. So Hub saying, I'm planning on triple captaining Mane or Salah in Game Week 24. William saying, triple captain, not double. Apologies if I did say double captain. Dylan saying, load shedding only ended now. I only got load shedding till 5:30 today. I posted on Twitter about it, Dylan. So luckily it was only stage 1. But I think no matter what stage I had, even up to stage 8, I still would have been able to stream. So hopefully you enjoyed it and had some nice relaxation and time to think about your FPL squad. Stefanos saying, triple captain, Salah, Mane, easy. I do think that could be a good shout. Start Abraham or Grealish? I would start Abraham, Gavin. Start double defense, Liverpool with Spurs. I would start them. Consider if you have Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, then I would start them. But if you do own Gomez, then it's another story. Tease Master saying, yes, triple captain in this double game week. Free it on the future blank game week. Bench boost on the future probable double game week. So that's kind of the fixture list and chip strategy that a lot of people are kind of going for. And I think that could be quite a good one. Christopher Smith saying, keep Ali. I think if you don't have any other fires to put out, I would transfer out Ali. I don't think that he's worth keeping. Tompkins to tier A and Ali to Madison. I think that's good transfers. I would actually do those. That is looking like very nice transfers. Start Mount or Greenwood, says Banjo. I would start Mount. Start Holgate, Rico, Gomez with Lundstrom and Trent. I'm leaning towards starting Gomez on this one. Need 1.2 million for Salah. Who to sell in Game Week 24 for funds? Traore or Calvert-Lewin? So I think probably Calvert-Lewin, because I don't know who you're going to get for Traore. It's probably going to have to be dirt cheap. In terms of if you're benching Traore every game week, then I would look at downgrading him. And if you're playing Calvert-Lewin, then just stick with him. Are you not tempted by Mane captain? Asked the Don. I am tempted, but I never really like captaining Liverpool players. And then when I watch them, I get kind of frustrated if they miss a goal or something like that. Start Ali or Ings. I would probably start Ings in that one. Remove Salah for Sterling only for the next 2. Nikhil, because it's only for the next 2, I would say probably go for it. I think you're doing that move as a differential punt, so I think that it's worth it. But as long as you're bringing him back for the double game week, I never will say no to a really nice move that you're planning. If you're kind of planning you have a set transfer plan that you've thought about for a couple of game weeks now, then I will never say no to it, because that's the best thing about FPL is if you have a plan and you stick to it, usually it works out. Except for me this season, every plan I make doesn't turn out. So, but I'm pretty sure that your plan will look quite good. Start Chilwell or Baldock with TAA and Lundstrom. I would start Baldock in that one. Are you still in the FPL Cup? I'm not in the FPL Cup. I got knocked out, I think 2 game weeks ago, game week 20, unfortunately. But I probably would have been knocked out last game week as well, because I had an absolute shocker. So I would rather not talk about the FPL Cup that much. John Tyner saying, I'm still in the Cup. I'm happy for you, John. Hopefully you go on and win it. I would really like it if one of my kind of subscribers went for it. So I think this is probably, I don't know if you guys agree with my lineup. Maybe the bench could be a little bit of work. So Yonku benched if you have Ings. I think if you have a really nice kind of bench, if not bench, but like defense to go for, then I would look at maybe benching him if you really want to play Ings. Start Sidibe or Soyonku. Peter, this is a really tough spot to be in, and I'm glad that I'm not in it. I almost want to say Sidibe, but Soyonku plays for such a better side than Everton, so I think I would maybe lean to Sidibe. I think earlier on I said that someone must play Soyonku instead, so it seems throughout the stream I'm even changing my mind, so that just shows how confusing that decision is. How much difference between Robertson and TAA? I don't think that over the season there's going to be much difference between them. The thing you have to kind of hope for is you just got to stick with them. So don't kind of chop and change and go for one or the other. Over the season, they're probably going to be evening each other out. But right now, I think that you kind of just go for whatever you can afford. My personal favorite is going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold, just because I think that he gets forward a lot more. But in terms of other players, you could probably not find two better options than what to go for of Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So, I mean, if you can bring both of them in, great. But in terms of whether to go for either of them, I don't think you can choose. I just think go with one of them, whatever your budget can afford, and then over the rest of the season, they'll kind of nullify each other out. Aubameyang or Rashford instead of Kane. Hasem, so if you don't need money for your Liverpool players, I would look at Aubameyang. But otherwise, I think that Rashford could be a nice little option to go for. But that's a really tough one to go to. I think you got to look at the rest of your squad. If you have a lot of Liverpool players, then it's fine. But in terms of, I think you need to kind of prioritize Liverpool for the double, then I would look at finding some money. Will Aubameyang play? I think he'll definitely play. I think that he was yellow flagged, so maybe if there was news about him. Nick Kill saying, you're absolutely sure about captaining Vardy? I am. I think I'm going to go for kind of safety in this one and kind of just go for the boring pick. Drop Ali for this game week. I can't. I've already used my 2 free transfers, so I'm not willing to transfer him out for a hit. Jack Mate saying 3 Liverpool defenders, a good option. You could go for 3 Liverpool options. I would probably say if you want to go for more of a defense, then I would go for double Liverpool. I think you kind of have to have a Liverpool attacker in that one. I don't think that you can kind of go for without one, especially in this double. I think you're going to probably get punished if you don't own one. I could be kind of talking rubbish here, but I do think that that's kind of the safe option to go for. Elite FPL saying, good luck, Dayvy. Aguero hat-trick hashtag says probably going to be Jason, as you are an Aguero owner, hopefully captaining him. Probably not Steve-O, because I saw his video of him doing a kind of match of the day weekend. So hopefully he's not cheating but thanks for the good luck, Jason, and you too. Kanishka with another 40 rupees saying, please answer my question with red circles. Out Ings, Martial, Pereira, and Guaita just to have KDB, Salah, and Mane with -8. Worth it. My rank is 38k, or just let KDB go for the double game. We can bring him. That is a lot of transfers to kind of contemplate. Let me see, Kate. Ings this game week. Martial, Pereira, and Guaita. That's a tough situation to be in. Just to have KDB, Salah, and Mane with the -8. I think I think you just go for it because it's a double game week. Double game weeks allow you to do whatever you want, so I think just go for that one. Play Sionku Sidibe this game week. Why is everyone asking me who you should start between Sionku and Sidibe? I would say start Sidibe just because it's more differential and kind of go for it. Stefano saying big up South Africa. Thank you, and hopefully maybe if you are South African as well. Guaita captain. I don't think I would go for Guaita captain unless you want to go kind of mega differential, but they are playing Arsenal. Can I have a few of those red circles, please? You can't have any of those. You can have some of those red circles, but you can also have that kind of blue circle next to your name. Teasmeister has it. Ali or Grealish. I would just go for Ali on that one. Rico or Kelly. Rico. I think Kelly, they're playing Arsenal. They're bound to concede in that one. I think that 100% Arsenal score in that one. I start Grealish or Traore. Go Traore. Is it worth taking a -4 for TAA for game week 24? I'm considering Pereira out for him. So I wouldn't do Pereira out for him this game week. Just bank the transfer and do it when you have more free transfers before that one. Start with Ings or Cantwell this game week. I would go for Ings just because of how good on form he's been. St. Tosin, a good transfer now. He's at Crystal Palace. It depends if he's going to be starting. Jordan Ayew hasn't been doing that badly. So, quick one. Ryan vs. Ramsdale. Who starts for you? I would go for Ryan. Is it safe to have 0.0 money in the bank if you have Mane and Salah? It's always safe to have 0.0 money in the bank as long as you can still afford the players you want. There's no reason why that's a bad thing. Ali or Saw, I would go for Saw or Madison. That's a tough one to go by. To be honest, I don't know if I would be benching any of those players. So if you're talking about a transfer, I would probably go Madison, but you shouldn't be benching Saw or Madison. So just make a rotation in your squad or something to play both of those. Wilson saying, good evening from Australia. We are 6 a.m. here. Start Grealish or Lucas Moura. I would say probably just go for Lucas Moura. That's more of a certainty. They're playing at home. I know Liverpool don't generally concede, but Man City don't either, and Aston Villa haven't been in the best form. So appreciate, Wilson, you watching from 6 a.m., considering it's going to be a Saturday there. So thanks for joining us so early. Buy Deeney or Delafeu for 1 week punt versus Bournemouth. I would go for Delafeu if you're going to go, Joshua. If Sterling starts to put scoring boots on, he got a great chance. Missed a couple of sitters against United. He missed a couple of sitters versus Shen, but that's also quite bad. In terms of a player, I don't really like to see them missing those chances, as you always want a player that's going to be on good form. Who's to say that he doesn't miss those chances against another team? Apologies for that. The water bottle is making some noises. Jose saying keep Lucas Moura or Ali. I'm going for Ali as he's more of a certainty to play. Ings or Mapai. For this game, we could probably go for Mapai. Traore or Fleck. I would go for Fleck. Captain Vardy or Jimenez. I would go for Vardy safety. Jimenez if you really have to catch up in your ranks, not looking that great. Calvert-Lewin or Ings for the next 3 to 4 game weeks. I'm always going to go for Ings because he's more of a certainty to start, to score, and he's just in better form. I play Martin instead in case he plays. I don't think he's going to be playing. I think he's still even injured, so I don't think he's got a chance to play at all, basically. But I can start him. Castle Light or Heineken to stay in Blouberg, Cape Town. Ryan George, do you stay in Blouberg? Because I might be coming there next week. Put in chat if you stay in Blouberg. Why not KDB as captain, Dayvy? Akash, I'm going for safety in this one. I do think KDB is probably the better option, but I'm just a little bit scared of Vardy. Humanson, a good choice now. He might play up front. He could, but I think that I would check how Spurs play. Maybe the Liverpool game is a good option to kind of go for, to kind of take an analysis on it and then go for if he does kind of perform well. Kevin De Bruyne, high ceiling than Vardy, 100%. Nick Diaz, I think he's probably the best captaincy option to go for in my squad. Maybe Sterling a little bit better than KDB. A downgrade Rashford to bring in Mane. I'm doing that next game week, but I think lay off it for now, Charles. Give Rashford one more game week against Norwich and see how he does. What do you think of Ramsdale? I think he's a good keeper, but I just don't trust Bournemouth at all. Adam saying any team news. So I'll check for you right now, Adam. I'm pretty sure someone would have said in chat if if there was some early team news, but let me check the usual accounts. Did FPL unsubscribe his account? Because I can't seem to find him. Okay, so FPL Subscribe changed his account name. So we do have some transfer news here. So listen closely, people. In terms of Sheffield United, Henderson starts, Baldock, Stevens, Fleck, O'Connell, Basham, Lundstrom, McBurney, Egan, Norwood, and McGolbrick. So in terms of Musset does not start. So if you do have Musset, I would bench him or transfer him out. In terms of West Ham, Fabianski starts, Cresswell, Balbuena, Zabaleta, Felipe Anderson, Lanzini, Noble, Ogbonna, Halle, Musaka, and Rice. So I don't really know out of many. In terms of West Ham options, I would go for Fabianski and Cresswell. Those are probably the ones you guys own. And in terms of Sheffield United, Lundstrom starts, Henderson starts, Baldock starts. The biggest one is probably Musset. He does not start. So I would look at maybe downgrading him or selling him if you don't, or just bench him if you own him. Does Frederick start? I don't think Frederick starts. Just listen to just replay what I said on stream and then go for it. So Fredericks does not start. Deadline in 1 minute says Tiesmeister. Good luck, everyone. Case saying good luck, Dayvy. Good luck to you too. Wiztech saying Vardy red card. Hopefully not. Mindset on Sterling too. Got a gamble, says Vishen. So good luck with you. Just going to refresh the page. Check that everything is in order. So everything looks in order. I'm pretty comfortable with that bench. I think that hopefully if Connolly doesn't come on, then I could just get a Rico off the bench. But otherwise, Vardy captaincy, De Bruyne vice captaincy should be good. Green arrow says Andres Enriquez. Hopefully, Andres, you also get a green arrow. So does Shane McGuinness, also saying green arrows. The running sloth. Good luck, Davey. Good luck, running sloth. Good luck, Cloud Fatty the dog. Master Rashford captain. Only differential. Captain Rashford or Sterling. I'd go for Sterling. Which one to start alongside Tia and Dean or Lundstrom? I would go for Lucas Dean. Sid Barber saying again, think about starting a Patreon, Davey. So I'll start it if maybe there's a demand for it, but I don't think there's going to be enough demand for Patreon. Marcus saying Fredericks is out for 6 weeks, so there you go. I'm pretty sure that the deadline has passed. The stream probably is going to be a little bit further behind than we are. So good luck, everyone. Hopefully you got your teams in, and hopefully your captaincy is good luck for you. We have Alam Rowe saying, love you, Davey. Love you too. Paulie saying deadline. Alvi saying we are doomed. All the good lucks in chat. So appreciate you guys joining the stream. Hopefully Game Week 22 is an absolute cracker and we all get green arrows. So I appreciate you guys joining me, especially on a Friday night. I appreciate all the support we've had from the members, donators, and people that have just kind of watched and answered or asked some questions. Hopefully, as I said, we do get a green arrow and Game Week 22 is absolutely stellar. We're hyping up prep for double Game Week 24. So hopefully the Liverpool assets perform against Spurs and we kind of left with no kind of decisions to make about them. But this is probably going to wrap up the stream, guys. Thank you for joining again. Thanks to OneFootball for once again sponsoring our stream. And I'm going to be checking you guys next week in the team preview and team selection. So once again, thanks for joining. And I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.